the way down over his ears, some hair is
Following
going
day,
to show.
December 8th, he was sentenced
In the year 1976, 46 years ago, Virgil Presnell was sentenced to death for the murder. Hello and welcome back to the Death Row and Executions channel. I'm Paco Rivera. I'm sure that many of you are aware of the Laci Peterson tragedy that occurred back in the year 2002. News of that case is still making the news today. The highly publicized, high-profile murder case in which a man, Scott Peterson, not wanting to ruin his relationship with another woman because a woman, his wife, was pregnant with his baby. So Scott Peterson killed the mother and her unborn child and disposed of them. Well, he was tried and convicted of that, even though he continues to deny it. 2 years later, in February of 2005, in Texas, a Laci Peterson, Scott Peterson, and another woman love triangle situation happened again. Only this time it was a Lisa instead of a Laci, and a 7-year-old boy who had jumped in to protect his mother was killed as well. Lisa was a single mother and by all accounts was doing an amazing job of raising her son Jayden on her own. Sometime around mid-2003, Stephen Dale Barbee met Lisa Leigh Underwood at the bagel shop in Fort Worth, Texas. The bagel shop that she owned with a friend named Holly Pills. Stephen and Lisa began dating. But according to one report, by the end of that year, Lisa began dating another man and broke off the relationship with Barbee. In other reports, it states that Lisa really broke it off with Stephen Barbee after learning that he was also dating a neighbor of hers named Trish. Soon after, Lisa learned that she was pregnant, and she told those she knew around her that it was Stephen Barbee's child. Friends and neighbors of Lisa have said that when she discovered Barbee was dating Trish, that she broke up with him and decided she will raise the baby on her own. That she's raised a child on her own before and will do it again. And that she had no intention of reconciling with Stephen Barbee. Stephen Barbee, it would seem, moved on and eventually married Trish. So he now had a new wife and a pregnant ex-girlfriend. On Friday, February 18th, 2005, Lisa, who was 34 years old, stayed home from work because she wasn't feeling well. A baby shower was scheduled to take place at the bagel shop at 4 o'clock in the afternoon the next day, Saturday the 19th. And she had told everyone she knew how excited she was about attending that baby shower. On the following day, however, she had not shown up for her own baby shower. When Lisa nor her 7-year-old son couldn't be located that Saturday afternoon by anyone, her friends panicked and notified police. Police searched her home and suspected the worst when quite a bit of blood was found on the floor throughout the house and in the car garage where Lisa parked her SUV. Her car was not there. Police then issued an Amber Alert. Going back to the night before, Friday night, Stephen Barbee, who had been married to Trish Barbee for only 2 months, called a business partner of his named Ronald Dodd. They ran a tree clearing business together. Barbee asked Dodd to take him to Lisa's house in Fort Worth. Dodd would later say that he dropped him off there and waited outside. Very late that Friday night, Lisa heard a knocking on her door. One report shows that Lisa was logged into her computer until a few minutes past midnight, so it is believed that's about the time that Stephen Barbee arrived. The friend waiting outside, Richard Dodd, would later say that he heard a loud commotion coming from the house with screaming and yelling from both Barbee and Lisa. Inside the house, the fighting had at some point escalated, and Barbee punched Lisa in the face and then held her face down against the carpet until she suffocated to death. Barbee would later say that they argued when Lisa insisted that he leave his wife or she will tell her about the pregnancy. He says the argument got heated and she kicked him, and that's when he punched her and suffocated her. The noise and fighting had apparently awakened Lisa's 7-year-old son, Jayden, who probably came out of his room wearing pajamas. When he saw his mother being killed, Jason screamed and tried to intervene. With his mom lying dead on the floor, Barbee placed a hand tightly over Jayden's mouth and nose. The boy then died of asphyxiation as well. There was quite a bit of blood on the floor that Barbee said came from Lisa's nose after he punched her. Stephen Barbee then proceeded to load the bodies into Lisa's SUV. The friend outside, Richard Dodd, would later tell investigators that he saw the bodies in the back of Lisa Underwood's vehicle and that Barbee told him what happened. And at that moment, he decided to just flee the scene, but later picked up Barbee on a road in Denton County, about 30 miles away from Fort Worth, Texas. Stephen Barbee had transported the bodies of Lisa and Jayden to a wooded area in Denton County and buried them. He then rolled the SUV into a creek. Barbee's jeans were all wet and muddy by the time he reached the side of the road outside that wooded area. That's when he was approached by a Denton County deputy sheriff at about 3:30 in the morning to question him about why he was there. Yeah, I got some old Alfred Hitchcock movie vibes when I read that in the case file. You know the stories. A driver with a dead body in the trunk gets stopped by police, only to be told that he's got a rear tail light out and should get it fixed right away. Anyway, Stephen Barbee told the deputy that he left his wallet home, and he gave the deputy a fake name. The deputy then returned to his cruiser to transmit the information back to his dispatcher. That's when Barbee fled. He took off running. The deputy chased after him, but wasn't able to catch up. That cop would later identify Stephen Barbee as the man that he saw the night Lisa went missing and testify in court about that incident.
What's up, man? You alright?
Yeah.
What you doing out here this late?
Walking home.
Walking home? Break down?
No, just got mad.
You got an ID on you?
No.
What's your name, man?
David.
Okay, hang tight, okay? Don't go anywhere.
Barbee's friend and partner, Ronald Dodd, later picked up Stephen Barbee on a road near that wooded area and drove out of there. By the way, the same deputy sheriff had testified that he also observed Richard Dodd's vehicle going past him that night. Meanwhile, a desperate search for Lisa and her son Jayden continued over the following days, and Stephen Barbee was brought into the Fort Worth Police Department for questioning. He denied any involvement in Lisa's disappearance and gave his alibi as being with his friend Ronald Dodd that Friday night into Saturday morning. So Ronald Dodd was also brought in for questioning. And he was giving a very different story than Barbee. Dodd told detectives that he saw 2 dead bodies in Lisa's SUV that Barbee drove out to the woods. Barbee's story fell apart further when cops showed him the dash cam footage from a deputy sheriff showing Barbee running away from him. And Lisa's SUV had been found partially submerged in a creek where Barbee had been seen. It was also learned during questioning that Ronald Dodd had loaned Barbee the shovel to dig the graves.
Ron took you to her house that night? About what time? After 10? After 11?
Maybe around 10 o'clock. He kept throwing up everything about insurance, child support, and telling Trish.
And telling Trish what specifically?
I don't know what she was going to say.
It's something to ruin your marriage.
Yes.
Barbee confessed and led authorities to the bodies. Barbee's business partner / accomplice, Ronald Dodd, who was on parole for a previous crime, was also arrested for tampering with evidence after the fact and received a 10-year sentence. Stephen Dale Barbee was tried, convicted, and sentenced to death. He is scheduled to be executed on November 16th of this year. DNA testing later proved that Stephen Barbee was not the father of the baby that Lisa Underwood was carrying. This story may not have reached the level in media circles that the Scott Peterson, Laci Peterson situation did, but several TV crime shows featured this story, and a book was written about it called Lethal Charmer. A description shows he had a wife, a pregnant ex-girlfriend. One of them had to die. That book is available on Amazon if you want to order it, but after looking at a few pages available on the internet, I suspect that the author inserted quite a bit of fiction of her own and details that nobody could have known, right down to Lisa's own thoughts as she was being killed. If you would like to see more of these death row stories, please subscribe so that you are alerted when the next one comes out. I'm Paco Rivera. Bye for now.